Show, Bet,
Thanks,
and
dear.
welcome back to Australia. It's always good to have you here.
Always good to be here.
Great laugh. Listen, tonight we're actually covering, it's going to be called The Book Show tonight as well, the Countdown 80 book, and we're going to reflect back at what happened over 1980 with Countdown, and talking about a book show, your book.
Yeah, look at
Yes,
that.
I've already read this book, actually. I got
It's
a copy
funny,
from
isn't it?
America.
Yeah.
Still get very, very worried about Melbourne, but never mind, we'll go into that later as well. So don't forget the Countdown 1980 book, and we're also going to talk about your album, which is absolutely outrageous. What president's missing?
Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson.
Poor Thomas.
Yeah, poor thing.
Took a dive,
Got
there you
aced
go.
out.
Anyway, listen, also on tonight's show, as I said, we're going to have a look back at Countdown 1980 through the book. We're going to tell you about the Rock Awards, and we've got a surprise guest later on as well. But right now, let's see what they all said in 1980, and they didn't say that much, I can assure you. No, yes. So let's have a look at that, okay? Well, there you go. Are you ready for all of that?
Staggered. How do you keep your health?
I'm
It's
not
amazing.
sure.
You certainly do brutalize yourself.
Well, that's the crew, mostly. Now, listen, this book,
Is fabulous.
it is a fabulous book, I'll
It is.
agree. Where did you get time to write all of this?
I wrote
Seriously.
it. We came back from Australia in 1979, December of '78, and I wrote it from February of '79 all the way through the summer.
Yeah.
And then we did all the layouts. We, the art director and I
Right.
worked on the layouts, and we put it out in February of '80, this year.
I mean, well, that's pretty quick getting that together.
Yeah, but I have been taking mental notes, on the tour.
Is there going to be sort of like sequels to this now?
I think so. Yeah, I really like to write. I
Right.
enjoy it. It's a fun process.
Now, you obviously love Sydney,
Oh, I love Sydney.
and you don't particularly like Perth.
I like Perth.
Oh, you like Perth?
I like Perth, but I couldn't say I liked Perth. I couldn't say I liked every town. I mean, I had to be sort of awful to some people.
And why Melbourne?
Well, why not
I live
Melbourne?
here.
You live here? You call this living? My God,
Anyway,
you're a
listen.
glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Listen, this is a great book, and the film, which, if it's anything like the concept, I'm going tonight to see it, but I've heard this album. This is outrageous, this album.
It's a good album, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it.
But on again, a serious note, you, when I interviewed you last year in Germany,
Yeah.
when you're doing
Krautland.
Music Laden, you were always a little worried about the fact that you really never, in your mind, cracked the charts, made the charts in a big way. Then Nights, what was it?
Nice and Black Leather.
Right,
Yeah.
became a hit out here, which
Yeah.
is funny enough after
Yeah,
that.
a hit here and a hit in Germany, and nobody else liked it. I don't blame them. I hated it myself.
And
But
then
the
Rose.
Yeah, that
wow,
was
you know.
great. It's great to make the charts with a record that you really love, with a song that you really think is a classical song.
Can I ask you now, was it depressing you, the fact that you weren't making the charts? I mean, when you had friends around you like the Streisand
Like Donna.
and Donna. Was it depressing you though?
It didn't depress me exactly. I was so used to it that I had just gotten used to it. I
Mm.
mean, I hadn't been on the charts in so long that I was really used to not being on the charts.
Right.
So when I finally got on the charts with the Rose, I was really, really thrilled. Really thrilled. I mean, much more excited than most people.
Well, I want to talk
would
about
be.
the film later on, because both films, but especially The Rose, because it was such a huge box office out here. I mean, they loved it out here. But we'll take a breather. Do you like Leo Sayer? Have you ever seen Leo Sayer?
Yes, I do. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's
I've
a
been
nice
in
little
the studio
guy.
with him. I rather like him.
Yeah? Very little.
Just my size.
But great.
Packs
And he's
a
a great
wallop, though.
songwriter, and it's great to see him back. In fact, I spoke to him the other day on the phone, and he's... Well, there you go. That was my sex with that computer
my
game.
zest or my sex?
No, My Sex.
My Sex.
Yes.
The band's called My Sex as
Yeah,
well?
From New Zealand.
Yeah. Which sex is it?
I don't know. It's just
You
that's the-
don't know?
that's-
You, of all people, don't know?
that's
It's
their
a sex
name.
that you've never experienced before? I find this very hard to believe.
No, let's control
Your
that,
reputation precedes you, Mr. Melvin.
No. Now listen, back to the film, The
Yeah.
Rose, right?
Yeah.
And sort of on a brighter note,
Brighter. What could be more
Oh.
brighter than sex?
I have no idea. But as far as The Rose was concerned, was it hard playing that part? I mean,
Not
is
at
there
all.
parts of you in it?
There's lots of me in it, and there's
Yeah.
lots of all those people that didn't survive the 60s.
Right.
You know, they all sort of started dropping like flies when the decade changed, Jimmy Morrison, Janis, Otis was dead, but even before the decade turned.
There was a lot. I mean, there was always that talk that you were doing. You know, like it was a lot to do with Janis Joplin.
When I first got the script, it was actually called Pearl, and it was loosely based on Janis's life. But I refused to do it. I didn't want to have the onus of having to portray her and having to, you know, sing like her. I didn't think I could do it. So I demanded a whole bunch of changes, and they were kind enough to understand my point of view. And we changed it. But the story is essentially the same old tired old Hollywood story. You know, person at the top with nowhere to go and no friends and no family and no lover, and really just a person on a self-destructive binge who ends up badly.
You sort of had a slight sneer at me when I said about the possibility of an Academy Award and nominations and that. When this was in Germany again last year, and yet that all did happen, didn't it? I mean, the nomination.
Yes, but I lost it.
Yeah,
God
but
damn it.
Well, I mean, like, you know, you won other awards for that
Yes,
film.
I got all the little ones.
Yeah,
but I blew the big one.
But were you surprised that it all happened like that?
No, I wasn't surprised because I knew it was a real scenery chewing kind of part, and those parts are usually, if they're flamboyant enough, they usually get nominated.
Now you've outraged a lot of people at times, like with your show.
Not
and
my
everything
generation.
Like that. Well, have a look at
no
the
one
film.
in my age group.
No, but I mean, there's been critics and things like that. Yet, one critique, which was in the Los Angeles paper, where he said, I haven't been a Bette Midler fan up until now, and I adore her after seeing The Rose. Did you get a new audience?
Yes, a whole brand new audience. I got a lot of women, a lot of women and young girls. I never had them before, and they really took me as a sort of a model kind of performer. Yeah.
Listen, back to the book now.
Yeah.
With this book, is there going to be? I mean, I asked you before. There's going to be sequels. Do you obviously like sort of? You know,
I love writing. I loved it.
Yeah?
I really had a great time doing that. I'm very proud of it too, because I didn't think it was going to turn out as well as it did. You know, I had never done it before. It was a big challenge for me because I love to read. I love books, and there it is. You know, this is a soft cover version, but to have it in hardback, you know, is just fantastic to me. Yeah, I loved it. I'd like to do the saga of Baby.
It's weird. I mean, do you write many songs or anything like that?
I have written songs. I had a #1 record once. I think Carol Bayer Sager had it out here. You're Moving Out Today.
Right.
Yeah, I wrote that with her and Bruce Roberts, and I've written a couple of other songs, but I've never had the nerve to put them out as singles. You know, it makes me too nervous.
I interrupted you just then. The saga of what?
I was talking about the next book that I have in the works, and that's called The Saga of Baby Divine, which is the divine, the first days of the divine Miss M.
Right.
Yeah.
No, what I was just saying is it just seems so odd that you being an artist and writing songs, that you don't sort of, you know, continue writing songs instead of writing books, you know.
I don't know why that is. I can't settle into one thing. I can't light on any one thing. I like so much of it, and I think it's such a short life.
Right.
You might as well do as much of it as you can.
Right, now talking about short life, like you've got a lot of friends in the business, and I remember last time you toured here, you had David Bowie was out at the same time, and you and David went out in Sydney and had a good time.
Oh, he tried to make me, but I refused.
But he really thinks you're marvellous, and vice versa. Do you have much time when you really are back in America and that to go out and see all of these people that you make friends with?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I make it a point because so much of what you do has to do with what they're doing. You know, it's a give and take situation. Right. They tell you things and you tell them things, and it's an exchange of information.
Right, listen, we're running out of time because this person's whining. Do you ever run out of time?
I usually play real long shows, and so of course I do run out of time, and I always have to pay overtime, which I hate. Yeah. Which I hate. You're a big gas bag. Come on, why don't you wind this down? It's time to get going.
People always say time's running out for me as well. No, they ain't true. Oh, listen, no, we're not. What are we doing? Oh, you see, you've confused me now. Oh, that's the album. There's the book. There's the countdown
There's the person.
book. Oh, there's another book here. Incidentally, very quickly, this one's got nothing to do with this show.
Am I in that book?
It's called, yes, you're in this book. It's called The New Music Book by Glenn A. Baker and Stuart Coop, and this one is over at New Music and New Wave Music, and it's a very good book. So,
come on.
well, there you go. Listen,
I feel like a class act next to that.
Now, listen, we were just doing a quick rundown of the charts while Gavin was over there. Kate Bush, you've never seen her?
I've never seen her live, no. I have her records, but I never saw her move.
John Lennon, starting over. Good to see him back on the charts, right?
Yeah.
Pointer Sisters?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
I love them, but they never step together.
Queen, what about Another One Bites the Dust?
What happened to him?
Donna Summer, love her?
Yeah, love her.
Right, The Wanderer. Cliff Richard?
Yeah,
from England, Dreamin'.
Police.
My
favorite.
You love him? There you go. Barbara Streisand. What
She's
about
fabulous
her?
too.
Yeah?
Fabulous.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, the best record of 1980. I'm convinced of it. Yeah.
And the one you don't know, Joe Dolce, Shut Up Your Face.
That's very funny.
You like
very
it?
funny.
All
I'll get a copy of that.
Yeah. Actually, you've used it, and don't say them, but you've taken back last time a few Australian expressions, haven't you?
Yeah, plenty of
And let's not talk about that.
No, I
Right, this show has been doing the Countdown 80 book, right? And it is a very good book, written by Laurie Masterson, photos by Greg Noakes, who does most of the album covers. And it's a very good book, this one. It shows
David.
all the stories about, you know, through the 1980s.
Sell,
Yes.
Molly.
And A View from
God,
Abroad
you're
by this
pitiful.
lady, I don't know who
I'd
she
be
is, Bette
ashamed
Midler.
if I were you. What a pitch person.
Stop it.
Well, you can sell mine. I don't mind.
Can I sell this book?
Yeah.
All right. This one's very, very good. And also there's the album and the film itself, Divine Madness,
Yeah, which is great.
which is all on the concerts. But what I'd like to say, and I brought it back with me.
Try to say it.
All right, and I'll say this very sensibly. I brought it back with me from America. I saw the film, brought it back on cassette, The Rose. And I would say for anyone that is thinking of going into the rock business, please have a look at The Rose, because I think it's an excellent film, but I think it's also an inspiration for anyone that wants to go into this business. And your acting's
How do you
superb.
figure that? She dies in the end.
Yes, well, of course she dies in the end, but I mean, it's that struggle, isn't it? It's not all easy, because everyone thinks it's so easy, this business.
No, it's a drag.
Well, it's not all the time a
It's
drag.
mostly a drag, except when you're raging.
You have a lot of good fun.
Yeah, I have some
Yeah,
fun.
okay,
Well,
listen.
so do you.
Here you are.
Thank you so much, my dear. Oh, a nice combo. Thank you. A nice combination plate. Very tasteful.
Now, listen,
Very
it's
beautiful, thank you.
great to have you on the show, and I'll tell you what, everyone at the ABC have been peeking in today, and they never ever bother to really looking at Countdown, and I think that's a tribute to you as an
Thank you.
artist,
Thank you.
because you are
I
magnificent.
know you're lying.
I'm not.
I know when Elton comes, they're all going to be out the door as well.
No, then, no, don't say anything about Elton. Like, last year I got into a lot of trouble what I said about him and David Bowie. I still thought David Bowie was pretty good last year, Elton. But we'll see Elton next. Do you like Elton?
I love Elton.
He's lovely, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Very funny man.
Yes, and
Very
he's in
funny
town.
man.
And he may be throwing a party for you,
I
incidentally.
hope so.
Yes, up in Sydney. So there you go.
Oh, is
Monday
it time for
night.
the weather report again?
No, no, it's time to say good night.
Thank
And if-
God, what a long hour this has been. I
And
didn't think it would be ever be.
Rather
Oh
than
my
go out-
God! You can
No,
hardly speak, Molly.
Elton's on
Next
this.
time I want to work with someone who can actually speak
Here's the
English.
chap I love. She's going to ruin me. Go to the film clip. Thank you, Bet. See you, Elton, next week. Will you go to the film clip, please?